Hi, all. This is Dr. J, streaming live from Long Island, New York, where the weather couldn't be nicer, where Wall Street couldn't be kinder. It was a good day for Dr. J. It was a good day for all the patient Athersys longs who will be patient until it is a 100 bagger. One low of 1 something recently, maybe a year ago, to a high of 100. Maybe some will start cashing in at 100. Well, from that introduction, you might think that Athersys is at $10 now. Well, no, it's not. But it's at $1.66 at the close. But that's very good compared to the $1.35 it hit for 2 consecutive days last week. It showed a little sign of life yesterday, closing up, I think, to $1.45. So today it was up, or $1.43 probably. So today it was up 23 pennies, something like that. We'll check when we check the charts. That's not the point at all. The point is that what got this moving was an SA article, Seeking Alpha. It was an article that explained the science behind their only drug candidate, multistem. And it was beautifully written. It went on and on and on in a very scientific, with a scientific approach to why this stem cell drug would work in ischemic stroke, in acute respiratory distress syndrome, and in myocardial infarction. The main part of the article was devoted to stroke and the trial that's ongoing with Helios KK in Japan, and the trial that failed to meet endpoints. I believe that was with Roche, although the author doesn't specify. I've been in Athersys. I've been a patient bull for a very, very long time. There are 3 stocks that I own for more years than I care to admit in the biotech area, but I will mention them. Besides Athersys is Geron and Cytokinetics. Well, Geron, we all know the story of Geron. It's on a comeback trail now. I did stick with it through thick and thin, but the last sell-off, I sold off as well. So I don't have nearly as much Geron as I do, let's say, Athersys or Cytokinetics. But I certainly may add to my position in Geron. I don't want to talk about Geron. I don't want to talk about Cytokinetics. I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about Athersys because I'm getting off the topic. Athersys is the main focus of what I want to talk about tonight, what I want to chart. Explanations for the move is certainly primarily, apparently, the essay article, but it's also been a lot of people and moneyed people and institutions and so forth that have been watching this one from the sidelines for some time, that have been in it for periods of time, and had to step to the sidelines due to the fact that it broke down from over $2 to $1.35. That was enough to knock to lose a lot of longs. It didn't lose me, but it came close. I have to admit it. I was getting mighty nervous at $1.35. That might have been my line in the sand to start selling. So fortunately for Dr. J, I had a gut feeling that this would come back and come back with a gusto, and it did. So there are other people like me that held on for dear life, so to speak, knowing the capabilities of this drug and believing in it, believing in Gil Van Brocklin, the CEO, who couldn't be a more enthusiastic, brilliant fellow, well-spoken, a CEO that I would put in charge of a company that I was just starting out to build. He is the man. And basically, all he can do, all we can do as shareholders is wait until the readout of the data in the Helios KK joint trial in Japan. That'll be about a year from now, maybe less. Figure the trial ends at the end of this year, maybe 3 months to evaluate the data. So, I think, so that would be about the end of the first quarter of 2020. That would be my guess. In any event, the author of this article was very optimistic that those results would be fantastic. And based on the fact that the window that the drug was administered in the Japanese study with Helios was up to 36 hours. And the data suggested from the Roche trial, I'm hoping it was Roche because I'm relying on my memory, which lately hasn't been so great, but I'm pretty sure it was Roche or a subsidiary. That data was good for up to the 36 hours. It got worse for the lengthier period of time. And there were, as nicely explained by the author, there were reasons why they couldn't insist on a 36-hour window. There was problems in the frosting and availability of the product in time to administer it in 36 hours. So I don't know how those problems exactly were overcome, but apparently they were for the trial in Japan. So the author went on to explain everything that was known about this drug. There was not really anything new, but he wrote it beautifully, and it was there in black and white for believers and non-believers alike to analyze and look at. I mean, we all knew just about every fact that was written in that article, or didn't care to know if it came to the extreme scientific detail. Many of us don't care. We're not scientists, we're not doctors of medicine. Suffice it to say that if it works, and it works better than TCP, whatever it's called, I always forget the initials, the drug that's currently in use, then that's all we care about. So in any event, it does appear that eventually this data readout will be good. The odds study is looking good and promising. Early data suggests that it could be a winner there. And the phase 2 trial for myocardial infarction, I don't know too much about that. I don't think it was emphasized in yesterday's article. It did refresh my memory as to a lot of things that I knew and had forgotten. But it instilled confidence in existing lungs and lungs that were shaky and money on the sidelines. So a lot of money on the sidelines just rushed right in. True, there were some day traders taking advantage of what looked like a Momo stock, and it was just that, up 16%, or about close to a quarter on the day, 25 cents. That was a very nice move. It waited to come down to fill the gap opening. So it filled that gap at, I think it was $1.45, right? I think so. We'll look at the chart. And then it started to move up like crazy after that. So it opened higher, came back down, and then zoomed. Uh, I could ramble forever on this one, but I've been in it a long time, and I maybe I sold some shares once, but I keep adding. So I'm like a Athersys maniac, like I was a Geron maniac, and I hope it sure comes out. I sure hope it comes out better than Geron did. Um, I mean, you know, you never know in biotech, and Geron could still be a tremendous winner. So it's a crazy, crazy area to invest in, but it's exciting. The runs are amazing, and the end product could be really great for humanity. So that's really, really an added dividend to investing in biotech. Uh, Probably 80% of my fund portfolio is in biotech. Uh, I shouldn't say fun, it's more than fun, it's serious. Okay, let's take a look at the charts. I also looked at AMD, BOXL, a request stock, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which continues on its way to all-time highs. Again, let's see what the charts show us. As always, do your own due diligence. My opinions are strictly my own and do not constitute investment advice. Please subscribe to the blog if you haven't already. Tell your friends about me. Share the link. Write comments. Dr. J loves to hear from you. All righty, let's get into the shared screen mode. Hopefully, this occurs within 2-3 seconds. That looks like 2-3 seconds. Okay, let's go from left to right. So the last one we'll do is the best one we'll do, Athersys. Dow Jones Industrial Averages. We're going to be quick with the other three, maybe even quick with Athersys. I said a lot already. And the chart speaks for itself, really. The Dow was up big today, not down as it says. So let's refresh. There we go, up 145 points, so more than half of 1%. It was the worst performer of the indices. The S&P was up more, about 3/4, or 8/10. The RUT was up about 1.6. So the Nasdaq was up over 1%, I believe. So the other indices outperformed today, which is a reversal of what's been going on lately. Nevertheless, the Dow put in a solid day, a nice sized green candle that closed well above the resistance line. So that's crucial. It also took out the high of Thursday. That's also crucial. So this is great. I mean, the close at 26,656 is knocking on the door of the all-time highs of 26,980. En route to 30,000. So there's nothing more to say. Dr. J is very pleased at the way the Dow is performing. I think earnings will be great this quarter, and the Dow will continue on its merry way. All right. AMD. I was a little disappointed in the action today, but it doesn't say anything significant. I mean, it's still trading in this region, if you want to call it, the triangular region between support and the upper trend line. I'd like to see it make a run to this upper trend line. I think it will, up to about 30. I mean, it could even happen by the end of the month. So, you know, once this thing gets rolling, get a little momentum. Today there was some profit taking and other things look more interesting. I mean, this stock had been moving up while a lot of stuff has been moving down. And there was a little rotation out of AMD today into the other stuff, so to speak. I mean, the RUT's been underperforming the Dow. The large caps have been outperforming. And AMD is not exactly a baby stock, but it's more of I forget what its market cap is. By now, it's more of a large cap. And there was some rotation out of this. Just as the Dow was not the best performer of the day, I think AMD suffered from a little of the same phenomena where people were rushing into the Russell 2000 small to mid cap type stocks. So I would discount any negative that from today to down 0.75%, no big deal. It's still moving away from support. It's still turned in a higher high today and a higher low today. So call it a good day, not a great day, not a bad day though, a decent day, even though we're down 21 cents. Dr. J is still has some very strong, long feelings for AMD. I'm holding for 30 at least on my swing trade. boxl Corporation. This is a request from Richard, I believe. Hey, Richard, glad to comply with your request. I like the chart of this, Richard. What's there not to like? I mean, it looks quite good. It has a nice trend line with 3 hits. I love this trend line. It's pulling away in a hyperbolic fashion as it shot up on Wednesday. It gave back a little bit on Monday, and today it got back just a little bit more. So the action is terrific. A little pullback was healthy. This was not a bad candle on Monday. It had a long, very long shadow, a tiny little body. And today was doji, basically needed to catch its breath. I think once the stock, quote unquote, catches its breath, it will continue on to new highs. I think it has an excellent chance of making new highs above, not all-time highs, but new highs above the 483 area. So from the chart, very nice. I'd like to know more about the fundamentals because unlike most chartists, I do care a little bit about the fundamentals. So if you don't mind giving me a link of some sort that I could look up, that would give me an idea of the company and give the viewers an idea, I'd appreciate it. But I am liking the chart. Even for a swing trade, it looks pretty damn good. Okay. Athersys, this is a beautiful, beautiful site for the long-suffering longs. A big, red, juicy, big green, juicy candle. A big green, juicy candle. Forget red. I mean, we've been used to seeing big red candles like this one on January 25th, 2019. That took us all the way down to 152. That was a depressing day. This is an exciting day as we rally back, we fight back. Time is on our side, as just like CBM is exploding, well, at least rising in expectations of a positive readout of data, so will this as the end of the year nears closer and we're closer to 2020. I believe you'll see this stock at higher than this significant high on 12/12 of 215. So Dr. J thinks we're going to start taking out old highs like this one from 125, $1.77 should go, and then we go all the way up to the 215 area. But not immediately. This kind of big red candle, usually you see a retracement. So a retracement could be just a small retracement or halfway through or even more. But I think halfway through makes sense to me. So I think we pulled back to 159 and then rally right through 170. So maybe even on the same day, maybe even all tomorrow. So tomorrow should be extreme volatility. That's the theme for tomorrow on Athersys. I'm not saying for the whole market. I'm saying for Athersys, fasten those seatbelts. You'll be going down the roller coaster and then climbing back up the roller coaster to the top of the roller coaster. And at that point, shut off the roller coaster because we ain't going down no more, no more. So that's the story of Athersys chart. And the story of the fundamentals is probably best served by reading the essay article that came out last night. I gave you a little overview, but I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I'm better with charts than I am with those kinds of fundamentals. But I do have a basic understanding of it. And I like it from a fundamentals aspect as well as from the chart. I think it's a drug that will become the standard of care for ischemic stroke. And who knows, maybe acute respiratory distress syndrome, and maybe even heart attacks. So this has been Dr. J, very optimistic Dr. J, streaming live from Long Island, New York, reminding you to please subscribe to the vlog if you haven't already. Please tell your friends about me. Share the link, write comments, give me a thumbs up because that shows that you like me. If you stuck around this long, you must have gotten something out of this video. Give me that thumbs up, please. And what else? I guess it's time to say goodnight. Shalom, sayonara, au revoir, arrivederci. Ciao.